Hello and welcome to another palette ranking. My name is Rachel. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back. This is the series I try to do about every 4 to 6 weeks here on my channel, where after I've tested a batch of palettes that are new to my collection, I've had enough time to play with them, create different looks with them, on camera, off camera, etc. I am able to come back and give you my final thoughts, my final review on the palettes, and I do it in a ranking style because it's just generally more fun that way. But of course, I am going to give you reasons why I like or dislike a palette, and that may or may not align with your preferences. And this is all just in good fun, okay? Don't take anything I'm saying too seriously here. I love playing with eyeshadow palettes. It's one of my favorite parts of makeup, and I know that a lot of you also love eyeshadow palettes, so I'm here to just like spread the love and just have some fun. I always enjoy talking about eyeshadow palettes. I am going to link the palettes that are available down below in the description box. I also will list in the description box whether or not I received them in PR, and I do usually pop the letters PR up on the screen when I show you the close-ups and the swatches. I also will be popping up affiliate codes if I have them with the brands, and everything that is on my face will be in a pinned comment. I did film this look for short form content. If it is up before this video, I will link it down below. But I think that's all I have to say. Of course, as I'm going through these palettes, I would love to know your thoughts as well. If you have them, if you want them, if you don't like them, if you like them, whatever it is, let me know in the comments. So I have more than 7 palettes, but I only have 7 places because I am grouping a few palettes together in some of the spots. So coming in at number 7, I have these 2 palettes from Pacifica. These ones I did get in PR from the brand. I have tried Pacifica's eyeshadows in the past. They did send me a palette in PR, I want to say 2 years ago, and they are a drugstore brand. They are pretty affordable. They don't really specialize in eyeshadows. I can't say that I've seen too many eyeshadow palettes in their line, but they do skincare. They do also do some makeup. So I will start off by saying I definitely don't think that these are in my preference. They're very, very lightly pigmented, very hard pressed in the pan, both in the metallics and the mattes. The mattes barely show up on the eyes. I think that these would be good palettes for like a preteen that is just getting into makeup because they're very affordable. They're really cute with the heart pan shape. You know, it is very preteen, or it could appeal to a preteen. And I think that the mattes in both of these palettes, so this is Waikiki. It is definitely more like cool toned, some pops of blue, green, and purple. The mattes in both of these palettes, this one is Malibu, a little more neutral. The mattes in these palettes, like I said, are very lightly pigmented, and they're also pretty light to mid-tone. There's really not a lot of dark mattes, so I think it would be good for, again, maybe for someone who's just starting out in makeup, where you can really be haphazard in your blending and you're not gonna go overboard. You don't want a super deep smoky look. You want something very light, very minimal. The shimmers in this also, I don't think are really very shiny. They're very, very, very subtle. And the eyeshadows I've tried in the past from the brand were in a different pan shape than this. I think they were in square pans. I felt that those shimmers were much, much better. They picked up way easier. I use my finger to apply shimmers. They picked up easier on my finger, and I think it's the pan shape of these. However the pressing works with the pan shape of these just made them really hard pressed. I definitely don't see myself keeping these in my collection. In fact, my sister-in-law's, this is like confusing, my sister-in-law's boyfriend's daughter, who is just starting out in makeup, she's a kid, I think I'm gonna give these to her because I think she would like them with the heart pans, and she can play with this and it won't go overboard too quickly. But for someone like me, this is just not what I'm looking for. I don't really recommend these in general unless it's for that very specific purpose. But I am thankful for Pacifica for sending these my way. I do appreciate it, but I think that they're just not for me. Coming in at number 6, I have the Prismatic Pugilist palette from Game Beauty. So Game Beauty is an indie brand that does collections based on gaming. Big shocker, right? Based on their name. I'm not really a gamer. I haven't played a lot of video games recently, and this particular video game is Street Fighter 6. I've not played Street Fighter 6. So I don't really have any attachment to the IP. I'm not really sure like how I feel about the actual like IP, if it's accurate to it or anything. The packaging on this is very large. So I will say it is a little bit of a downside for me because I have a very large makeup collection. So storing this isn't the easiest, but I mean, it's not like a huge deal to me. There is a lot of wasted space. I know that may be a con for a lot of people. It's not necessarily a huge con for me, but it's not a pro. This is a very, as you can see, a very colorful color story, a rainbow palette, basically very heavily matte, which I prefer a very heavily matte palette, but I don't love the mattes in this. I've tried the mattes in the past from the brand. I felt like they were a little bit better quality than these mattes. These mattes are a little harder to work with in my opinion. I also created a purple look with some of the purples here and the pinks, and they stained my eyelids really badly. So just wanted to be transparent about that. Probably not meant for the eye area, that's why, but anyway, I think the shimmers in this are really pretty. I think they're stepped up from their past palettes. They are more shiny, more metallic, more, you know, out there. I do feel like there's a few different shimmers formulas in here, which I appreciate. This one, RED, is a very chromy silver. This one, Walk with Grace, is a little more of like an iridescent shade. Yeah, look at that silver. It is absolutely, why did I use my left hand? This is kind of funky. So yeah, really pretty shimmers. I actually quite like the shimmers. I just don't love the mattes. I don't love the color story either. I am much more of a neutral lover. And if I am playing with color, I like purples, I like greens, but I would say overall, this is a lot of blues if you look closer, which I just don't prefer blues. But yeah, I mean, the single metallic shadows that came in this collection are so good. So good. So if you're looking for something with this IP, I would definitely kind of guide you towards the single shadows because they're so beautiful. But this palette is just like not really fitting my preference. There's nothing really wrong with it necessarily, but I just prefer all the other things going forward. All right, coming in at number 5 is the palette that I'm wearing on my eyes right now. And from here on up to the top, there's nothing wrong with the quality. It's all color story preference, in my opinion, okay? So I have the Nomad Route 66 palette. This is their latest release. I love the theming. I think it's super fun, very, very good for summer because it is like a road trip theme. It makes total sense. They always do an amazing job with their packaging, really fun, different like tourist attractions along Route 66 across America. Really, really fun. The color story is pretty. I think that if you are a color lover, this would be a really good palette for you because it is colorful in my opinion, but it's more muted colorful tones. So this could be something unique for your collection. I really enjoy the warm tone side. I love warm tones. I love warm tone neutrals, and I love the look that I created with this side of the palette. This side of the palette is not my favorite. I'm going to be honest with you. I will create looks on camera with this side, or I have, but it is not a color story that I personally reach for off camera ever. I'm never gonna reach for blues, just like, I will never say never, okay? I won't say never, but it's just not a color story that really calls to me. I do like greens, but these are definitely more like the greens that I don't love. I do like this color down here, End of the Trail. It is what I'm wearing in my crease. It is like a yellowy, greenish, mustardy, kind of like grungy color. That color is very interesting and I quite like it. The shimmers in this are really pretty. This shimmer that I'm wearing on my lid, Gateway Arch, is absolutely beautiful. It's a very unique, like a duochrome that looks neutral, but if you look close, it's almost got like a greenish, yellowish kind of flip to it. This one, Comet 2, I used in one of my looks. Very, very metallic gold, so beautiful. The greens and the blue shimmers are really pretty. This shimmer, Monger Moss, not really the greatest shimmer. It is definitely more of a subtle shimmer, but I don't know, I don't love this shimmer, but I think overall it is a really interesting color story. It's just like this side of the palette, it's not my favorite color story, but I think the overall quality of this is good. Like, it's the good Nomad quality. Apart from like this shimmer I don't love, but the rest are good quality. I think it's just more of a color story preferencing that I enjoy the other color stories going forward more. Coming in at number 4, I have the Fantasy Cosmetica Ranger palette. I really enjoy Fantasy Cosmetica. I think they do amazing, amazing eyeshadow palettes. Both quality, theming, and packaging are really good. So this is a fun theme, the Ranger. They are a fantasy-based indie brand, so they do a lot of like fantasy characters, stuff like that. They do a lot of 9-pan palettes, and the thing I think Fantasy Cosmetica does so well is being able to create color stories in their 9-pan format that are versatile, that are interesting, and that you can get several different looks out of this. It's not all monochromatic. You obviously have greens and you have warm tones, but I feel like they work really well together, and they're packing a lot in a really small palette. The mattes are fantastic, very blendable, very pigmented. The shimmers are absolutely beautiful and breathtaking. They just have a really good formula. They have it down. The mattes go light, mid-tone, and deep. The shimmers are different textures. We have this really dark shimmer up here, which I think is so beautiful. I did create a look using that all over my lid. We have two warmer shimmers. This one I think is a better version of the one I didn't like in the Nomad palette. This one, Ambush, is a duochrome that's like a peach to a green. Then we have Marksman, which is like an iridescent duochrome that's got a minty flip to it. Beautiful quality shadows, an interesting color story. Some of these greens are a little like not my absolute favorite undertone, but I still enjoyed the looks I got out of this so much. I really recommend this one if you like the color story. Coming in at number 3, this is not a new palette, but I have a drawer of shame. There was a time where I was buying a lot of eyeshadow palettes, maybe 1 to 2 years ago, a lot of eyeshadow. So fast that I could not keep up with using them. And so I have a drawer full of eyeshadow palettes that I've not used, that I either bought like during Black Friday sales, or I bought when they were on sale, or whatever the case was. So I'm slowly chipping away at that drawer, and this palette was in that drawer. And I'm so glad that I finally got to it, because I really have been enjoying this palette. I've been reaching for it a lot. It's not an exciting palette. It's pretty boring, but I like it a lot. And that is the Brunette palette from Melt Cosmetics. So this is an all brown palette. But listen, here's the thing. I've been reaching into this a lot. And I have created full looks with this palette, but I've been reaching into this palette more for grabbing for a shade that I may not have in another palette. So for a transition shade, for a deepening shade, for an inner corner, if I want a matte inner corner, I've been reaching for this. Although I will say this is not the most pigmented bone colored matte that I've ever used. I feel that there are other palettes that have a better pigment, but I still really enjoy it. I think the shimmers in this are nice. They're not super shiny, super sparkly, over the top shimmers. So if you're looking for something like that, I don't know that you would enjoy this palette. But I think when it comes to neutral shimmers, I don't mind a just standard shimmer that is a pretty basic looking shimmer. If I have something that's colorful, like a shimmer that's colorful, I want it to be pretty shiny, pretty sparkly, pretty special. But a neutral shimmer, I like how it looks. I created looks that I've really enjoyed with these shimmers on my lid. I do like that there are 3 different shimmers that are different. I like the light to deep gradient in the mattes. I will say this shade Buff, pretty useless for me because it is almost the exact same shade as my skin tone. So it's not a shade that I'll ever really reach for, but I actually really like this. I just like the other palettes that are coming up in the number 2 and number 1 spot more than this. But if this was in a different ranking, it could come number 1 because I've gotten a lot of use out of it. I really like the quality. I think it's a really good quality palette, and I'm boring, okay? I like a boring, basic, neutral palette. All right, so my number 2 and my number 1 spot, these palettes, I've been losing sleep over which place I'm gonna put them in. That's how close they are. And actually up until like maybe yesterday, the day before, they were flipped. So very, very close. Very, very close in terms of number 2 and number 1. Just be aware of that. So coming in at number 2, I have the Glam Light, the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1 Team Jacob for Face and Body palette. That is the longest name ever. I've said this a million times. I'm gonna say it one more time. I know you probably are so sick of me hearing it, but I'm just saying it in case there's someone new to my channel. I don't have any attachment to the IP. I've read the first Twilight book. I never continued whenever it came out years and years ago. I've never seen the movie, so I don't care about the IP. But I will say I think the packaging of this is very good. I think generally Glamlight does a really good job with their packaging. And at the time when the movies came out, I did think Taylor Lautner was a babe, so like, you know, I'm getting a little nostalgia looking at him on my palette, but like, I don't know anything about him in the movie. I just thought he was cute back then. But yeah, we do have a lenticular cover. And then on the inside, we have this beautiful color story. I mean, it's a neutral color story. It definitely, when I first saw it, I was thinking it leans very cool toned, which it does. It does have a lot of cool toned shades in here, but there are also warm tones as well. We have a couple of pops of warm tones here. The quality of this is the good Glamlite quality, because I feel like Glamlite has a few different formulas, especially when it comes to their shimmers. Some of the shimmers, like the Kiss palette they came out with, I did not like the quality of that palette. I actually had a really hard time working with the mattes and the shimmers, to be honest with you. But I actually really enjoy the quality of this. The shimmers are very sparkly, very thin on the lid, which I really like. They're not chunky or textured. Some brands have very, very thick shimmers. I don't feel like these shimmers are like that at all. Very smooth, very just shiny and pretty. And I really just love an interesting neutral palette. And that's what I feel like this is. There are a couple of pops of green. I don't love this color green, like the green with the blue undertone, but I did create a look using these shades and I really enjoyed the look. But this is a palette I've been traveling with, I've been reaching into a lot. And the top two places here, number 2 and number 1, are palettes that I've been wanting to reach for even when I'm done testing them, reviewing them. I have a drawer where I keep my palettes that I'm testing. When I'm done testing, I take them out. I put them in their brand drawer. And this palette is one that I did not want to put away. I wanted to continue reaching for it. So I have to put it close to the top for that reason. And then coming in at number 1, can I get a drum roll, please? So actually, these are 2 palettes, but I'm going to put them both in the number 1 spot because I feel equally excited about both of them. I've been using them equally. I've been using them together and they launched together. So I feel like I can put them together. And this is the Unearthly Cosmetics Murky Meadow and Shadowed Petal palettes. I have been traveling with these palettes. I have been using them, just like I said about the Glamlite, over and over again. Even when I've been done testing them, I've got my final thoughts. I'm pretty familiar with the Unearthly Cosmetics formula. I've been wanting to reach for them, and I've been creating looks with them together, which I've been really enjoying. I think both of these are laid out so well. They are monochromatic, but I do feel like I can get a few different, very distinct looks within one palette. So this is Murky Meadow, which is definitely more grungy greens, also with some grungier neutrals. I love this addition of a like bright neon yellowy green. I love that we have some transition shades for my skin tone that are pretty neutral, which I really enjoy. A dark brown, which I really enjoy. This like hunter green, very beautiful for the outer corner. All of the shimmers in this are so gorgeous. Unearthly Cosmetics has a beautiful shimmer formula. It is very, very thin, but very sparkly, very shiny, very in-your-face type of shimmers. I love the shade Frosted Foliage, which is an iridescent duochrome or multichrome. I'm not sure if it's duochrome or multichrome, but I love having that addition in a palette that I can put in my inner corner. I can layer it on top of something. I was able to get neutral looks out of this palette, which I really appreciate, but also some colorful looks as well. And then Shadowed Petal is the more like mauve purple sister, and I love a mauve purple look. Even though I love warm tones, I love mauves, purples, stuff like that. Gorgeous shimmers as well. This icy pink shimmer called Twilight Rose, super beautiful, super fun. Midnight Blossom, I used this in a look when I was at Creators and Friends all over my lid. I got a lot of compliments on that. I love having a matte white for my inner corner if I want a matte inner corner. A super dark, dark, dark purple that almost looks black. I mean, really gorgeous layout. This is like a multi-chroma up here. Ugh. Great quality. I love the Unearthly Cosmetics quality. If you've been here before, you know that. And I really love these color stories individually, but also together. I can't recommend these enough. All right, and that is it for this palette ranking. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment down below letting me know your thoughts on any of the palettes that I talked about today. Are they palettes that are on your wish list? Did you also pick them up? Are you loving them? Are you not loving them? Are you wanting to pick these up? Let me know. Whatever it is, let me know. And I want to thank you so much for watching today's video. I will see you very soon in another one. Bye.